case you guys don't know me, my name is Rollie Cook, and I drive a 150cc Honda C95 1966. It's original condition. We have been with this club more or less on and off since the mid-80s, and this bike story is kind of a crazy one. I bought it as a basket case, 1966 Honda 150 as a basket, completely torn apart. I managed to find the original owner, and he told me the story of how it ended up in that condition. Apparently, this guy used to drive this Honda to and from work continually, and he had won this bike in a contest. So I guess he didn't have a dealership to take it to. So they said one day him and his buddies, his trucking buddies, were sitting there having a couple wobbly pops, and they decided, why don't we give this bike a tune-up? A simple project, right? So at that point they grabbed some wrenches, and one guy would take the tappet covers off and the other guy pulled the spark plugs out. Well, this guy with the tappet covers took that little adjusting nut on the tappet and started backing it off, backing it off, backing it off, and then all of a sudden, tinkle tinkle, into the motor it went. Well, they sat back, had a couple more wobbly pops, and decided, we can get this thing, we can drop the motor out, no problem. So here's this nice shiny Honda sitting there in the driveway. These guys attacking it with wrenches. They pulled out the motor bolts, no problem, but they left the back one in at the very back, so the motor went thump onto the front fender, putting a nice little dent in it, right? So they decided, okay, no problem. They got the motor out. So how are we going to get this nut out? Well, if you tip it upside down, you got a gallon of oil on the driveway, right? So no problem. So they sat down and they found out, they took the head off and started working it that way. Well, this bike, more or less, went in storage for a number of years, and during this part when it was in storage, the owner's sons decided to help Daddy out by taking parts off the bike. And this nice shiny bike just started to fall apart, pieces everywhere. The kids who were helping Dad, they noticed that there was, they were going to help Dad out, zero out the odometer, which was kind of a neat little thing. So they took Daddy's brand new Black & Decker drill and hooked it up to this speedometer, turned it on, and went out to play baseball. Well, Daddy apparently, he said, came home that night and he could hear this noise in the basement. And he goes downstairs and here's his nice shiny Black & Decker drill glowing. It was been on all day. Well, now the bike has approximately about 5,000, I think, miles of untraveled mileage on that odometer. It was a different. Anyway, his bike went together pretty good. I managed to, at that time, meet up with the owner of Northwest Cycle, and he took an interest in helping me restore the bike, so he hunted up the missing parts through Northwest Cycle, and he found them over in BC and on the East Coast. One of the parts that I had to replace, which was rather strange, was somebody had taken the automatic advance mechanism and taken a hammer and chisel to it. And I don't know why, to this very day, why they did that, but it was a total write-off. So we had to replace all that. The bike's mufflers and all the rest of the parts went together good. And we've been out driving it around to different rallies, and now it's in the museum there, out at Heavy. And that's the name of that bike. That's a little Honda 150cc. Thank you.
Thank you, Rollie.
Thank you.